Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to my RPG News Roundup, this time for March 30th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. With that, let's take a look at computer and console role-playing game news. Take-Two Interactive looks like it's going to acquire Gearbox Entertainment Company. Gearbox owns such IP as Borderlands and Homeworld. It looks like Embracer Group, the prior owners of Gearbox, will retain the publishing rights to Remnant, Hyperlight Breaker, and a few others, so it looks like their, RPG adjacent material is getting split. Lunacy Games has announced a licensing agreement that will allow it to create a new game in the Hellgate London series. Currently called Hellgate Redemption, it will take place in another part of the alternate history world from that franchise. There is no release date yet, however, it will target the PC and consoles. Sworn, a roguelike, has been announced for release sometime this year. There is currently an open playtest going on until the 31st, which is tomorrow as of this recording. It looks like it will include 1 to 4 player co-op and feature a fallen Camelot with a corrupted Arthur and his knights. Bellwrights is coming to Steam Early Access. It will be an RPG that combines various life simulation, town building, and action in a medieval type world. Again, there is no release date set. Legends of Starcadia is another RPG that has been announced. In development for the PC, it draws inspiration from classic RPGs like Earthbound, Chrono Trigger, Undertale, etc. It has you playing a teenager from Earth who has been drawn into an interdimensional battle. There has not been a release date set. Legends of the Round Table has been announced. Based on Arthurian legend, it looks like it is graphics inspired by medieval illustrations. Sagres looks like it's coming to the Switch, although a release date has not been announced. It is an open-world sailing RPG that has been available on PC since last year and has you playing a captain in the 1400s. As far as actual releases go, South Park Snow Day saw its release. It is an action RPG set in the South Park world where you join the crew during a day off from school. Then Geneforge 2 Infestation saw its release. It is a remake of the second entry into the old Geneforge series from Spiderweb Software, set in an alien world, fantasy world that involves wizards who can create and modify life. Ender Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist entered early access. Sequel to Ender Lilies, it will be released on the Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X/S, and Steam sometime this year. It is an action Metroidvania where various homunculi have been driven insane by toxins from beneath the land. Not so much a straight-up RPG as a farming sim, Palia saw its release. It has you exploring, crafting, farming, etc., as well as investigating a mystery. Blood Nor Water is a tactical turn-based RPG with some real-time elements. You play a company of fighters in a world descending into warfare. It is currently in early access. Terra Memoria is a turn-based adventure RPG involving a shortage of magical crystals and the sudden awakening of various ancient robots. You play 6 friends looking to investigate what is going on across the world. Soul Wizards and Roguelite is a dungeon-crawling roguelite that combines wizardry-like dungeons with procedural generation and such. Looks like they used AI to produce some of the art, which, for a low-budget team, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. Felvidek is a... Felvidek, I'm probably totally butchering that, is a JRPG set in 15th century Slovakia wherein you play an alcoholic knight. I understand it's relatively short, but relatively interesting. There is a demo available. Rift Wizard 2 is a more classical roguelike that has you basically playing a wizard in a wizard simulator, journeying across the cosmos to defeat his nemesis. Hero Tale is a sort of idle, casual RPG with roguelike elements. It has you grinding to gain experience, training your skills, unlocking new maps, and gathering loot. Looks very casual. Finally, there is Amigas Adventure, a role-playing open-world game with pixel art graphics where you are on an isolated island and mean to explore and overcome various quests and dungeons. Now, on to tabletop role-playing game news. We'll start with The Lost Caverns of Sajkanth, an abridged version of the full adventure from the Quest from the Infinite Staircase module, which is itself a 5th edition conversion of a very classic module. It is now available on D&D Beyond for free. On towards minor and PDF releases, we have several offerings from 3 Wild Embers. There is Ascensions, Incantations, and Celestial Beings, a collection of material for 5th edition that deals with Ascension to Godhood. Glim Godloki, an adventure for 5th edition and Pathfinder 2nd edition, as well as a strong RPG, suited for level 6 characters. There's Twistholds, Relic Forges, and The Wandering Way for 5th edition, another set of supplemental rules for that same setting. Mercenary Resurrections, Salt Springs, and Soul Magic is also available for 5th edition as well, so yet another entry into that setting. End Publishing has A Vault of Splintered Souls available in print. It is a mega dungeon for 6th to 10th level, characters for 5th edition, and includes 14 floors in the ruin below Maltakar. Adventure Ripples has Galactic Resurgence, a 5th edition one-shot with a sci-fi basis. It deals with an alien being collecting specimens from across the universe when the party has to go aboard a spaceship on a mission to travel to them to rescue some humans who have been picked up, as samples. Tears of Darkness, a layer of the Silver Rings, is available in 5th edition as well as Osric versions, and it is a module set to start a story that will be a full 20 level series of 20 adventures, and that'll be interesting. Kel'Thuzul's Tales has a set of 5th edition offerings in the Dungeon Tale Pack series, each one having 2 adventures in one, or rather an adventure and then a bounty associated with it. There's Nature's Grasp, Fiendish Ritual, Jungle Temple, Haunted Crypt, and Lost Tomb. Elfie Punk has Shifter's Den, a solo 5th edition adventure for level 8 characters. It is the 8th book in the End Times of Eredor series. They also have the series in various bundles if you want to take a look at it. Dark Eagle Games has For a Few Kittens More, a second chapter follow-up to For a Kitten, which has since been retitled A Fistful of Fur so that they can do the whole, Dollars trilogy kind of inspired titles. Anyway, this one is suited for 4th level parties. Adventures in Philbar has The Cult of Vane, a 5th edition adventure in the Philbar Artifact series that deals with cultists who have overtaken a small community. The Big Book of Disposable Heroes is a 5th edition supplement that has a collection of Tier 1 characters from levels 1 to 4 that can be used as various hirelings, one-shot characters, random NPCs, etc. Extended Squad Combat for 5th edition is a rule supplement that expands on the rules within a separately available Squad Combat for 5th edition, which adds new squads for use in new games. Privateer Press has the Book of the East Part 2 for the Iron Kingdom setting. It offers a set of options and details dealing with the Scorn, with feats, gear, and enemies. Goodman Games has a few offerings for both 5th edition and Dungeon Crawl Classics. There's 5th edition Fantasy number 25, 7 Days of the Serpent, a level 6 5th edition adventure meant to serve as a tie-in to the classic adventure Dark Tower. By Mitra's Bones, Meet Thy Doom is a 2nd level Dungeon Crawl Classics adventure that can fit into the same Dark Tower thing. Finally, there's Original Adventures Reincarnated number 7, Dark Tower, a 5th edition conversion and upgrade of the original classic adventure from the late Jack Hayes. There's also DCC RPG version available, as well as Monsters and Magic of Dark Tower, offering new monsters, spells, and magic items available in both 5th edition and DCC RPG versions. Gate Pass Gazette Annual 2023 is available in print and compiles new material for level up 5th edition games. It's mostly taken from last year's individual issues. The Meadery Mishap is a Shadow Dark RPG adventure suited for low-level characters. It is a mini-setting that contains town play, wilderness play, and dungeon play. Pulp Heroes gives a campaign options, or a series of campaign options for Sword and Sorcery style characters in Dungeon Crawl Classics. It offers not only new character creation options, new occupations, and so forth, but also new rules for zero-level play. Mythmere Games has a Swords and Wizardry White Box, now available in print. It's an updated version of the classic Swords and Wizardry White Box rule set that is more aligned with how the original D&D White Box appeared. Leyline Press has a couple adventures for Old School Essentials. They have the Isle of Galaslin, the Bastard King of Thraxford Castle, and a God with No Name. Gaming Ballistics has a number of offerings for Old School Essentials. There's Monster Hunter Belladonna, a programmed adventure that follows a monster hunter named Belladonna. The Scorpion Labyrinth includes an ancient ruin lying beneath a city streets, while the Isle of Cedra is a setting sourcebook that details all the major cities, locations, and alliances upon an island. A treatise on magic and spells is an Old School Essential supplement that offers new materials such as cantrips, rituals, new spells, and magic items suited for the Brownhaven campaign setting. Populated Text is monthly has issue 31 available in print, which includes a barrow with clues for Long Forgotten Empire, rules for customizing, clerical turning, and some sample gods. BRW Games has a new set of releases for the old Castle of the Mad Archmage OSR Mega Dungeon. It is in print, and there are the core levels, it is the original release, as well as level 3 east in the museum and level 4 south of the gardens, which is, just expanding on the same thing. Sanctimonious Slimes versus Expired Epicures is an old school based dungeon delve dealing with a vault built by the earliest humans that contains things that frighten them. Phaeton Publications has a few offerings from their old vault. They've got Phaeton number 3 of fall 2008 all the way through Phaeton number 8 winter 2020 or 2010. Wow, this is old. Each one collects material for old school Renaissance style systems. Welcome to Strangeville is an OSR compatible role-playing game inspired by the old Kids on Bikes style movie genres of the 1980s. Wretched Chambara is a game setting built on the Wretched system, complete with a world with its history and background that can be used for both scenarios and extended campaigns. Is inspired by the atmosphere of classic Japanese cinema. Lair of the Horned Giant is a fantasy age dungeon crawl wherein a long ago hero challenge the horned giant and its cult, and now new heroes come to investigate legends around the fields where it took place. With Guile, Incantation, and Faith as a genre setup for the Sanction RPG, it details further information on the Shattered Dominion setup with various lesser orders, cantrips, and so on. Cloudbreaker Alliance is a counter-apocalyptic RPG about reconnecting long-lost civilizations and uniting against the monsters that destroyed the world. It includes an all-in-one rule set and is designed to be relatively accessible with a very detailed setting. Deadlands Night Train is a 25th anniversary digital box set update to one of the famous adventures that fleshed out the Deadlands world, updated for Savage Worlds Adventure Edition. The Fifth Frontier War is a supplement for the Traveler system that deals with a new conflict within the Zodani Consulate. Flesh for Yog Sothoth is an adventure suite for Call of Cthulhu and compatible systems, where the characters are set to track down and recover items stolen from a break-in at the home of a wealthy art collector, including an ancient statue. Delta Green God's Teeth is an evidence kit that takes agents after fragments of a deadly tome and other material that might probably be better left in darkness. Smoke and Aces is a basic role-playing compatible offering that's set in the modern world with a sort of action comedy setup of the 1990s and 2000s, wherein a club DJ witnesses a mob hit and is set to testify but now has a price on his head. The characters should now extract him from a Vegas penthouse and protect him and bring him out of town alive. Nevermind the Dice Rolls, issue 31 covers Daggerheart, a review of the Electric State and various other material for tabletop RPGs. And finally, there is Action at 12 Cinema, a system designed for GM-less, zero-prep collaborative role-playing with a focus on B-level action movie-style stories that use only 12-sided dice. And with that, let's take a look at RPG crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to an RPG crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And in my quest for covering more console and computer role-playing game crowdfunding, I have a few this week. I've been trying to be better about that. We will start with Seized Kingdom, Sudden Hero. It is to be a retro RPG of a video game inspired by the original Game Boy. It will allow you to select different color modes for display and be a top-down view-style RPG with a focus on exploration. Then there is Swordhaven, Iron Conspiracy, a fantasy computer role-playing game inspired by old Infinity Engine titles like Baldur's Gate, Icewind Dale, etc. There is a demo available. It will have a real-time with pause mode, a turn-based mode, a classless role-playing game system, and a non-linear world. Delta, The Fallen Kingdom, will be a VR RPG. It looks to take place in a world where the citizens have lost the knowledge of magic while still relying on the ancient blue crystals and other magical effects. You wake up at an old battlefield and must explore the world, master magic, and so forth. Onward towards tabletop game crowdfunding, the Folio has the complete Virgin Mine. It is a mega dungeon hardcover that will be available with both 5th edition and 1st edition stats within it. It will compile the 7 parts of the Virgin Mine series into one group comprising 6 adventure modules plus 5 mini-adventures. The Timeless Caverns box set looks like it's going to contain stats for both 5th edition and Old School Essentials. It will be an homage to the Lost Caverns of Shawscanth and will be a classic dungeon crawl. It will focus on maps, miniatures, and similar material within it. Operation Stealthwater will be a 5th edition one-shot along with a novel. It will be based on the Mirror and Realm novel series. Hymn of the Dragonflower will be an adventure for 5th edition as well as Tales from the Valiant. It will feature cold and bitter mountains in an attempt to harvest a mythical flower for its magical properties. Da Vinci's War will be a 5th edition adventure set in the heart of the Renaissance. Covering the Battle of Venice, it will add magic to a world of art and science. Diarmo and Torte's Deal of Adversaries, Howling Goblins, looks to be a 5th edition sourcebook about forests and goblins, specifically the Howling Goblins, which are a horde of ambushers that will offer challenges for adventures between levels 1 and 6 with lore, tactics, weapons, traps, and other advice on using them in your campaign. Towns, Taverns, and Tales, A Traveler's Guide to Fantasy, looks like it will collect 20-plus unique fantasy villages, towns, and cities for tabletop role-playing game. Will be compatible with 5th edition. Codex Bestarium will be a collection of 150-plus challenging monsters for 5th edition. So a bestiary. Then Monsters of Drakkenheim will be another collection of monsters for 5th edition. One will cover 150-plus eldritch horrors and twisted abominations with epic bosses and various layers. Pickpocketing Expanded looks to be a 5th edition compatible supplement that it expands the various rules and mechanics for pickpocketing as well as providing loot tables. Philip Reed is producing character backstory cards, so they will also be available in a book, compatible with various 5th edition and similar systems. It will add flavor and gain benefits to characters in a quick and readable format. Beneath the Ghoul Lair will have versions for 1st edition as well as Old School Essentials, and will be an expanded re-release of an OSR adventure that's been out for a while now. Suited for levels 2 to 4, it features a 2-level plus dungeon and additional locations not in the original. Cairn 2nd Edition looks to be a box set revised and expanded version of the Cairn RPG itself, similar to Knave and Into the Odd. This box set will include an expanded player's guide, a new warden's guide, and a new adventure. We Die Young will be a tabletop RPG compatible with both old school essentials as well as survive this game systems. It will focus on supernatural retro role-playing in the 1990s, set in Seattle during the grunge and alternative music counterculture. It is essentially a sequel to the 1980s-based game Dark Places and Demogorgons, so there's that. Finally, there is Wanderer, the tabletop role-playing game set in a multiverse at war with itself. It will feature an easy-to-use dice pool system inspired by Fate and Fudge, with sprawling and multiverse opportunities to play in various areas. With that, I will wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for March 30th, 2024. Thank you all for sticking with me. It's been a rough year for me so far. I've been doing everything I can just to keep this RPG News Roundup thing going. I've got some Let's Plays on my secondary channel I'm going to catch up with, and I'll probably add some more stuff on that. And I am desperately trying to get some reviews done for this channel. I will be touching on some video game reviews pretty soon. I've got a couple of them that I was given to review, so I'm going to get reviews for those out. And we'll see how those goes. And if you like them, I can do more. Anyway, as always, links will be below. If you like what you're seeing, remember to leave a like, comment on your feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.